We're with the Office of Community Development.
Louisville Land Bank.
You have 6 months to get this property done.
If I have real estate questions or whatever, she's got a lot of great ideas.
But he's the building expert,
So you would have enough room to put your installation in between.
so that makes us a good team. Our goal is to show you how you can buy your own property and do an amazing rehab like this one.
That's why we do what we do.
Hello everybody, today we are in the historic Portland neighborhood.
Growing up, that's what I always heard. I mean, everybody down here is friendly, and it's Portland proud.
This is the oldest neighborhood in the city of Louisville.
It seems like everywhere you dig around here, there's a broken bottle from the late 1800s or an arrowhead from sometime in the last 10,000 years.
Historically, Portland has always been a working class neighborhood, generations and generations of families that have lived here.
I just think that there are very few neighborhoods that are still this intact to how they were over 100 years ago.
We have a lot of shotguns and camelback style homes, most of them over 100 years old. Just a collective of beautiful homes. That's one of the reasons why we're down here in this area, is to try to bring, some of these properties back.
Basically, that's what we're looking at our investors. We want them to be proud of, put their name on it.
And we're going to show you some properties we have under renovation that are from our land bank.
So let's get going. We are at the table right here in the heart of Portland. Keeps the best stories for himself.
That's funny.
I love this.
What would your title be, your little tagline?
I don't know what it would be. Let's see.
Trouble.
Mr. Pie Man.
These stories really tell you about Portland. This room is our conference room, and it is filled with 100 pictures from Portland residents. Portland is for believing in your children. Portland is for being original. One of the members of our community, Joe Newland, had the great idea. He wanted to spend a summer and meet 100 of our neighbors. And then over here is one of my favorites. Dear gentleman, it means a lot to us at the table. His name's Uncle Bob. He's a pretty special character. He volunteered here for a long time. Every picture has a story, and every picture is a face from somebody in our neighborhood.
Please swallow your pride.
Lloyd Hoagland and Myrtle Dodson, a century of Portland. What we say here in Portland is come and taste the flavor of our community.
Papa Rizzoli soup, drink, and French onion grilled cheese. Alrighty.
The table is a community cafe. It's a pay-what-you-can restaurant, the place where we just enjoy inviting the city to come and have lunch with us and really get a taste of what Portland is like, what life is like on the west side of 9th Street. We can't imagine a better place on the planet to live than our Portland neighborhood.
Whenever you're ready.
It's the people. It is our neighbors. It is a unique slice of life. We have a great history here that is just coming back to life in ways that our neighbors have hoped for years and years. One of the most important values about the table is that everyone has a seat. And I think it's really an important value for all of us as we kind of create a model of gentrification with justice. And when we say that, what we mean is that everyone should be listened to, everyone should have a voice in the development of our neighborhood, and all of our neighbors should also benefit from the lift.
You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand.
Having a place where our neighbors can come and enjoy a meal together and laugh together and just make plans and dream together is worth it all.
Years ago, people talked about doing a Portland Stroll. We have the table down the street, Gil Holland's new mixed use 3 blocks away, coffee house down. I mean, there's so much stuff going on. This whole area is getting ready to pop. This building was the Exchange. 1902, I believe, is the year this was. It was used up bad. The roof was collapsing in it. The whole front was unstable. It looked like it was going to fall out into the street. We started reaching out to different people, and I knew in the back of my mind who needed to have this. There's Bernardo right there. It was going to take a true mason in order to save this building. He bought it, and it's beautiful. The before and after of this is crazy. Bernardo's invested in this. He's bought lots next to it, trying to clean it up. Those are demo for deeds. He's putting the money out to take them down. This one here has probably been making 10 to 12 years. Everything down through here is all rental. That's why they get like this. The lady right here that has a newer house, I feel so sorry for her because she had to live between all this mess. She's loving it now that, there's some life coming back in. And she doesn't have to worry about that building falling on her house. This street right here was littered with chopped cars. When we took those houses down back there because they was unsafe, it was a street party. The neighbors back there cheered. Where we're standing in this lot was another 3-story building. That one needed to come down, and we took it down. We took down a lot of problem areas back behind this where there was a lot of high crime rate. We've taken it down, and that'll be out later for like an RFP or SOI to continue to build the commercial down through here. When you come down here in the afternoon, you actually see kids out playing, in the grassy areas. I mean, you see life now. It's those small victories that just keep us going.
To my buddy Jim Porter, the Kentucky Giant, and we're in the Portland Museum. Jim Porter was 7'8", I think that's about right, depending on what history book you read. He had aspirations to be a horse jockey as a young kid. Then he had some kind of gland issue, I believe, and it caused him to rapidly grow. He ran a saloon, transported folks from downtown to the wharf. There's a little picture of him. He used to sit on the roof of the buggy because he couldn't fit inside of it. Jim Porter was just famous for being tall and nice and, yeah, legendary.
Wow, there's so many memories.
Yeah.
I love this.
Happened upon the U of L digital archives. Found thousands of amazing old historic photos. I just kind of found more and more of these photos, all of the current locations that I could, and did kind of a then and now.
This is their glorious past reclaimed.
That's the sad one there.
Yes, it was sad. I look at this every time I drive by.
It's so sad that people are living there with no siding, And just to see how it once looked, and realizing that back in the day, there's this beautiful, sign painted up there. To this day, there is still shocking amounts of neglect and disrepair and active redlining and segregation and all these things that have kind of made this thing what it is today. But there are so many hidden gems and buried treasures and structures like this that still exist. The majority of these have all been, if not completely renovated, at least in the process of being renovated. There.
Yes.
I'm always worried about this one.
They're going to make it into a family store.
Cool.
There's no lottery tickets. It's going to be what the people need in the area.
Great. That's great.
So the Gaggle market's coming back.
Yeah, that's so good to hear. It's really encouraging to see the amount of love and effort people are putting into these properties still. It seems like they've taken great strides to actually talk to neighbors and figure out what they want. It's not just about what the developers are going to profit off of, It's like what's going to serve the community. That's really exciting to see. It's really positive. Okay, I have this plan. There's a lot of good things happening.
So they say that
Ahoy! This is the future home of Ahoy, the adventure house of you. All right, this thing was looking so awful for so long that I just kind of started painting it without asking permission. And then Gil, fortunately, drove by and was like, if you're going to paint it, you want to buy it? I'm like, sure. I think this could be in the 1870s.
Yeah.
It's still in relatively doable shape.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Oh, wow.
But that being said, it's going to take some work.
Oh, wow.
You probably know this pork chop, but I have just recently learned the term balloon frame house.
Yeah.
Apparently they burn very quickly,
Yeah, they do.
and they take 50-foot virgin forest trees to create. One tiny leaf will go all the way down to the cellar,
Yeah.
both of which make it kind of a challenge to repair.
Simple but beautiful. Even the transom hinges match.
Thinking about every room being its own little environment. For children, that will be linked with the museum. Hopefully local sponsors coming in, and the kids can just kind of pass from room to room, going to different exhibit type things, and have the whole thing look cohesive like a work of art.
I appreciate it it is a work of art.
Yeah, definitely.
Look at that, huh? Huh? Still works like me.
It was abandoned for about 30 years. The last resident was a blind man who strung up these wires around to feel his way around. And his name is written on the dormer in here. J.A. Jones, 1915. There's so many little details that I'm so glad weren't lost to time. The fact that they engineered all of these angles and swoops without computers, you know?
Ahoy!
An immersive, experiential children's environment, all decorated nicely, and hopefully a place for children and adults alike to get lost in and reconnect with their inner creativity. Coming soon to the neighborhood of Portland.
You can't miss this house.
Portland started right here on the river.
A lot of these houses came from Sand Island.
We want to preserve the look of the neighborhoods. What we are going to show you is some historic renovations, a big project down on Red Avenue, and then another duplex that's a historic property. And those are properties that not a lot of people would take on just because they are huge rehabs. But there are people out there that they love the history of the property, they want to bring it back, they want to save it. All these neighborhoods have a history, and I really think that if you can kind of bring some of that history into your rehab, just gives it a little more meaning.
I like fixing up old buildings. This building we bought for $1. For whatever reason, I just liked it. It was in extremely poor shape. You can see what we've done. Floor joists were rotted out. They were bad. So we replaced the section of them here. Addition in the back that had a bathroom in it, completely rebuilt. This will actually be 2 bathrooms and a laundry room. We're trying to save the fireplaces.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I think those things are great. We had to restructure the roof. The east wall, the bricks all came down. It's completely rebuilt. There's been a lot of work done. Just that wall was a major piece of work.
So a lot of people don't realize that something like this could be saved.
This one's going to take a little work, but
Yeah.
get it there. I have a blueprint for the building now, so we know what we're going to do in here, which is a big help. So it's just a matter of time. I have 4 buildings in Portland now in construction. They're all similar to this. You get in there and you find there's more problems than what you anticipated.
We got a couple more we want to show you.
Oh, no.
So are you just like a glutton for punishment?
I think I am a glutton for punishment. I like doing them. I don't like every one of these. The house at 3200 Rood is a really beautiful, beautiful building in terrible, terrible shape.
It took a while to find someone to take this on. They just didn't have the ability to bring it back, or the money. The patience,
Yeah,
the money.
yeah.
And there's Bruce.
Oh, I love this building. This building is really a beautiful building.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
And when they came back from Indiana, this was a bar.
Yeah.
A perfect place.
This was the watering hole for Great-Grandpa. Great-Grandma worked up the street. He would walk down here.
We put on the National Register of Historic Places because it was such an historic place.
And it had an in-ground pool.
This building has the one that had like 6 foot of water in the basement.
Yeah.
And that's still an issue. We'll take you in there and show you around on the inside. First step's a big one. So this is just open spaces. I would like to make this a commercial space because it was a commercial originally. You could put tables out there on the street, which is like 30 foot wide, because I build to suit, you know?
But it'd have to be somebody that's obviously has really good food to get people down here.
Yeah.
But they would come.
But it may end up being a 2-bedroom unit, yet to be determined. And, you know, it's just wide open. This is in process. These 3 beams had to get put in to support the floor. This will have to have all new hardwood in it. This will have to be replaced. The stuff that came out here, I'll use to patch it upstairs. But this down here is going to be a big, big project. This is 3421 Rood. This was a foreclosure. I never entered the building when I bought it, just saw the outside. Each one of these buildings is in a different phase. The tuck pointing has been done, fixing up the cornice in the front of the building right now. It's kind of like a work in progress. Ceilings are very high. Can't get the electrician here, so we're going to try to wire this up. So this is a bedroom, and there's a closet. The heating is done, and you can see where they put the registers in. The hardy board, they had a hard time getting redone. There's a couple new windows in here. You can see where it's coming. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done here. Hindsight, I might not have taken quite as much on. So, and there's one more we're going to look at right down the street. That's probably the furthest along.
So up on the second floor, you got a really good view of the Sherman Minton Bridge.
Oh. I much like the river an awful lot. This was a 2-bedroom. It's going to be a 3-bedroom, pretty much a total gut and redo. Opened it up a little bit. Well, let me take you around. This will be the kitchen coming along. This is the back porch. They had a little bathroom in here which we took out. This wasn't the right spot for that.
Yeah, why would they even do that?
I know, but they did.
You just wanted a scenic view.
They must have. This will be an interior back porch. And then we're going to put a deck out here. This is the bigger bedroom. See this window? It slides into the wall.
Cool.
Yeah, so we left that one.
Yes, that's cool.
Pretty much all new. Replumbed, rewired, new roof, repainted. The windows are going to get fixed. The floors will get redone. And then I got to rent it, you know what I mean? That's the next challenge. If I tried to sell this, I would lose money. So if I rent it, hopefully in 10 years I can sell it and then, you know, be okay. We're on the very far edge of Portland, but whether it's Portland or something else, this is a good neighborhood. I'd rather get one in a pretty decent neighborhood and make it better and hope some other people move in and fix their properties up. All the places I have, I think, are pretty good. I mean, it's a mixed neighborhood. Some are really nice and some are not, but that's a factor there's a lot of factors, but that's a factor. Hopefully Portland will come along. It certainly seems like it is.
This is what Porch Up likes to call the 5 corners because we have a lot of commercial buildings right on these corners that at one time were prominent in the neighborhood.
All those houses were all stores.
What we're hoping to see is to bring back places for people to go. Maybe go to the library to a meeting and then go have a coffee across the street and make it a walkable neighborhood again.
This particular corner is one that I find really easy to imagine it in a heyday. It's really a hub of Portland. When you find these properties that have a lot of potential that aren't getting used, then it's kind of like, well, let's figure out some way to do something good with it, you know. My wife and I live in the neighborhood and have for 14 years. We didn't know what it should become. We just knew that it's a strategic property because of the location of it. This whole wall here had fallen. Somebody that had owned the building before cut through all the studs to run a drain pipe for a kitchen drain. It almost was floating there.
Yeah.
We raised it up and reframed it. It's not going to fall over anymore. That's definitely what draws me into it. It's an imagination of something being better than what it has been for a long time. We found out after demoing it's an old ice cream shop. I think it just said the ice cream shop. So I think this whole side would have been the shop space. It was built for the family to live here and have their business here. When we got it from you guys, you remember there were all kinds of walls. It was just open down to dirt. This was on its last leg, meaning really it had lost a couple legs. It wouldn't have made it much longer. They're built so much better than our homes are now. More substantial materials. Some of them have been able to survive even despite heavy abuse and neglect. But we can go upstairs. That's been cleared out.
All these little nails, you know, every 3 inches.
That helps hold the building together too, yeah.
This is back when people had patience. I mean, a nail every 1.5 inches.
That's cross bracing, and that's only done in a building that they really built well. It's just a very good building practice that most buildings don't have because of the extra time and effort that it took.
This is hatcheted out.
This is really cool.
When you see stuff like that, it's a sign that whoever built this way back really was building a higher level building. We took out, I think, 5, maybe 6 30-yard dumpsters. It's like, the building itself was built to last much longer and to do much better than it did, but we're making amends.
I looked up there a minute ago, and he's putting dental mold back on this front corner. A lot of guys take shortcuts and just knock it off, cut it off, cover it up. We don't want that. That's character. That's what we want. We're characters.
Really, the goal is to get it to where somebody can see the potential of the space, and then from there get somebody to basically finish the build out according to what they want to do specifically with it. People 10 years ago thought we were crazy saying people were going to come to Portland, but it was true. A lot of people have come. I enjoy getting to see how they will populate the neighborhood, what the neighborhood will become based on the people that are given space here.
When you have places like this where you can see your neighbor, see him in the store or the coffee shop and say hi, by, and I think it just brings the community together. If you're interested in learning more about our vacant lots or buildings we have for sale, you can always go to our website at louisvilleky.gov/vacant. There you can find what we have available through our different programs. You can also sign up to be on our email list, so you'll be notified of new properties when they become available. Hopefully soon we'll get us some coffee.
Yeah, let's go get us some coffee. So come on down.
No.
No,
No. Are you done giggling?
I tried.